Okay, we're live. Here we are. Okay, so this is my second round of going live. So I hope it's like much better than the last time. Oh my god, that was like so difficult. How's it going?
It's going good. I
It's
can't
going good.
complain.
Yeah. All right. Let's do some intros because I know that people don't really know me either, and like I just like started my channel. So I'm Layla, and I talk about propaganda and all this crazy stuff, and
Oh,
just breaking things down. Yeah. Okay, go
you
ahead.
have very based opinions.
I am very based. They are based.
And I guess I'll do an intro as well.
Yeah.
My name is Maria. I'm new to YouTube as well. I went viral on TikTok a few years ago, and when I stood against the feminists, basically crusading against gaming, and blaming everything on misogyny. And I've been interested in talking more about education as well as mostly feminism and just politics in general.
Oh, like education, like how the education system's corrupt and stuff like that.
Yeah, and a lot about the history of education and how it's influenced the problems we see today.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so
Yeah,
true. Okay, let me see. I can't see any of the comments. So let me get those
I
comments up
can't either.
because I think I think we might have to open the page. I'm still so new to this, so I'm just trying to figure out what's the best way to do all of these things, and I think it might be better
On mine,
to
there's like a bookmark on the side for messages, but I don't see any. I think it says comments for live viewers.
Oh, I think okay. Oh, how do you spell your handle?
MWIL15, and that's pretty standard on all my socials for the
MWIL
viewers.
15. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's up. Okay. All right.
Okay, I
Let's
see
see.
chat now.
You
Yeah, it's
do?
MWIL15. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's do this. Yeah. So, we're going to talk about a little bit of the drama that's been happening because, I mean, there's just been a little drama, like, not a big deal, just people throwing their ideas around, no big deal. I honestly, like, for me personally, I was like so physically like drained and upset about all this drama. It was like, really? Do we have to like, not only are we have to like worry about censorship and like cancellation and all the things that happen, now we have to worry about other conservative like voices like literally like losing their shit. Or we can't. The new monetization strategy, like policy, and the new just overall policy is like you can't swear. So I'm gonna be
Oh
careful.
gosh.
Yeah,
I'll
you
try
can't
my
swear.
best.
Yeah, you can't swear. Like it's so bad because like I don't know if you've seen, but gamers are really upset because I don't think
Yeah.
they use the best language. So they're
Of
like
course not.
so
Psychological
mad.
warfare.
Yeah, they're so mad that their videos that have been, bringing in money for years are being demonetized just randomly because of language
Mm.
concerns.
Yeah, and the what qualifies a curse word is very broad. Like you are not allowed to say the word, and like actually just SIMP in general is considered a swear word now. Calling people Karens is
Are you
borderline, which I think
serious?
is wild. Yeah, it's like that's somebody's name. And
Are
I
you
remember there was a whole Stephanie
serious?
thing. Do you remember when Stephanie was a meme?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's just insane. You can't just go banning names. That's wild.
that's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, I got the. Okay, someone says Crowder made the. I keep wanting to call him Chowder so bad. Crowder made. Chad says Crowder made the best point. Yeah, he made a very compelling point. I'm actually releasing a video on his all of his points and why they are so popular with people. But yeah, it definitely it tugs the heartstrings. It's like, oh, He's fighting for us little guys. Oh. Meanwhile, I'm like, can I just get this money? Can we just get this money?
Yeah, people focus on the money part, but it really wasn't a big part of his video until Daily Wire brought it up. I personally think it's respectable that he didn't name names. Personally, he wasn't trying to make it personal, but ultimately the Daily Wire had to. All of their pundits, especially Candace, made it incredibly personal, which makes me think there's more to the story than what we're knowing. You know?
I would be personally upset if somebody released a recorded phone call because, like, I say some really messed up stuff about people. So, oh my God. Like,
Well, you should just own it. If you say something messed up about somebody, just own it and say, yeah, I said that. Like, there's no shame. There shouldn't
yeah.
be, you know?
Yeah.
Like, if he's gonna say that his creators are wage slaves, then he should just own that and not be, like, acting like it's unusual to have recorded conversations in media. Like, I'm a journalist, and yeah, you're supposed to tell someone before you record them, but...
Especially if someone's supposed to be your quote-unquote friend. That's
Yeah,
like
but
the
friends don't give
shade.
friends shitty contracts, you know what I mean?
Uh,
I
it's
wouldn't accept that type
business.
of business from a friend.
It's
And
business. It's
he also said
business.
it was a first draft, which I'm like, if you're producing that low quality right out of the get go, and that's supposed to be a display of your values as a company, to
I
especially to a
think
new hire, I'm like,
I think
it's
Michaela
not a great sign.
Peterson is gonna go over her dad's contract to try to
Oh,
show.
yeah,
Yeah, and then Candace went over how in her contract they wanted all her like social media, and she was like, "F no,
yeah.
you're not getting it." So
But
yeah, I don't
it's just the
know.
point. It's
It's
just the
just really,
point.
yeah, it's just really hard because when you're going up against these like mega beasts, these soulless demon beasts in Hollywood, I just feel like business with friends is like dating coworkers. Exactly. I just feel like it's like
Yeah.
you have to be so in business you have to be so militant. So it's just like really not it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea. Especially
It's not,
when
and that's kind of a rule of thumb.
yeah, especially when you have like conflicting business models apparently. Like I
Yeah.
just was like, okay.
I I think a lot of times the problem with going in business with friends is that they take your solutions or your suggestions personally or your criticism personally, and it becomes about your friendship and who you are as people. When it's if it really was just business, they wouldn't have had to like all of DW's creators would have taken it so personally when he never specifically called out any of them. They basically just it was like as if they all said, "Well, the shoe fits and I'm mad about it." When it's like he could have been talking about someone else. Realistically, ultimately it was the Daily Wire, but they could have just been like, "Oh, well, that wasn't us. Never mind,"
Well,
and kept it quiet.
I think that in terms of the space, there's so few big players that it was kind of
There's more now.
hmm?
There's more now. Like it could
I
have been
know.
PragerU or like even Project Veritas or
But
somebody
PragerU
else.
is part and Project Veritas doesn't have a subscription model like that.
No, they don't. But he didn't. I feel like he didn't really go into every detail in the first video. It was more about just like warning young creators. He didn't get into all that till Daily Wire did.
Yeah, so my interpretation of it was that basically, because the whole thing was around like censorship and supporting big tech. I think less people were like upset about the owning the creative work and all of that part because that's obvious like in so many
Yeah,
companies that's like standard like people own your
that is
stuff when you
standard.
work for them.
Mm-hmm.
But like what I saw was that basically of if this stream of income is now cut off, you're not going to get this amount of money. You're going to get a different amount of money because that stream is cut off. So basically, it's like downstream to them. So if at the top, like they're getting all these platforms, like 4 platforms, and then one of the platforms cut off, then that's a percentage, and then downstream he gets less. Like that's what I saw. So it made sense to me. I was like, if there's no revenue coming in from that source, how could you get that revenue yourself? Like how could they pay you for it?
My response to that would be probably that he's already getting that revenue and has been demonetized for 2 years now, and he's still managing to make revenue. He has his own follower base that's pretty significant. I think Mud Club alone is 350K. He has more than double the subscribers as the Daily Wire on YouTube, and he gets like 100,000 per stream live viewers on Rumble, which Rumble isn't even that popular by comparison. So there are other tech platforms that support him, and he has his own viewer base that will follow him anywhere and have pledged to, and he has his own sponsors who said they would go anywhere with him. Crowder has a big thing about only having one ad read per show, and personally, I think as a viewer, I love that. I don't want to be a product, and every time I watch the Daily Wire, they have the same ad reads on every creator 5 times. It gets really annoying. It almost feels like brainwashing to a degree. Like, they're not even mixing it up half the time. And they're, like, really scripted ads. Whereas Crowder makes them artistic. He has a whole skit. Sometimes he even does parody songs. And it's, like, the highlight of the show sometimes. And he wants to keep that as a part of his brand. And I agree that he could have negotiated that. But I think that it was disrespectful, even in a business sense, to give him, like, a lowball contract like that and then kind of gaslight him into thinking that he's not worth more, when he would be significantly growing Daily Wire's viewership simply by subscribing.
Yeah, that's definitely true. So my thing is that why then instead of it sounds like you're trying to put a circle through a square hole. If they're like their models, the way they work and what they do is so like different from each other, why would they even like they shouldn't even work together at all? Like my thing, I almost fell out when I was listening to the call and he was like, oh, what about changing your business model to this? I was like, is he trying to seize the means of production from like this tyrannical? Like I was like, what? Why are you trying to tell this business that is doing well they need to change their business model? Like that does not make any sense. Like I was just like, okay, that's weird.
I feel like they just have 2 completely different ideas of where they want to grow their media network, and I think I'm not sure exactly what was going through Steven's head, but like if it was me, I would be, wanting to try to work it out with my friend to do business, and I would personally take it to heart if they lowballed me like that, especially when I'd have that much experience in the business. Like he's not a new creator, and it's also that I'm sorry, I just had a complete mental blank.
That's okay. No, I want to focus on, okay, so Chad said build the infrastructure to the extent where the other tech companies aren't so heavily relied upon. And I totally agree on that, but that's like an incremental thing. And being someone who's like at such a, let's say, low level in the tech industry and just like understanding how much of a monumental task that is, like even Peter Thiel, who like funded Rumble, like that's who's backed it, even he's still working and he's still trying to get it, up to that level. So the idea of like how much resources and effort go into creating a platform is like astronomical. Yeah. And it takes decades. Like it takes so long. Like YouTube has decades already. Like I think they're at least 10 years old, like, so they've had a head start. They have the best technology. They have all this data. Their algorithm has been, refined not just through YouTube, but through Google itself. Like that algorithm is like, obviously what they rely upon to maybe, deliver the content, make sure people have retained, make sure they keep up retention, like all of these different facets to make the experience so phenomenal and so retentive overall. So like to think about going up against that is just like, wow. Like that's something that would take a very long time, I feel like. And even Jeremy, the CEO of Daily Wire, he mentioned that. And he was like, we're trying. Like they have a platform,
Yeah. I think the difference is Daily Wire's trying to replace Disney. They're trying to take a more Hollywood-esque route, and it's obvious.
Because they're from Hollywood.
Yes, they are, and they're actively recruiting people who left Hollywood or were raised in Hollywood. So it's a completely different goal and a completely different mindset. Where if you look at where Steven's come from, he just left the Blaze. Look at how Glenn Beck growed the Blaze.
Yeah.
He took
Yeah.
what 10 years to grow it, and you have to kind of think of it this way. Steven needs a spark to grow a movement. This could have been his way to make that spark and kind of say, I'm different than them. I'm starting it from scratch. I'm taking my real supporters with me. And it's also an effective way to weed out the people that probably were really on his side anyway and didn't want to subscribe.
Yeah, but you don't do it through trying to seize the means of production. Like,
he's not seizing anything. He's just denying the contract and doing it in a way that warrants other creators. Personally, as someone in media, I've been offered contracts, and they're scary. And you have to have lawyers read them over. And a lot of these young creators, they want to keep that momentum from going viral. They don't want to wait. They don't want to read it out. And they sell their life away into golden handcuffs, just like the artists with the record labels. It's the same thing.
Yeah, the 360 deals. Yeah. No, I know.
And
that's
it's scary.
Yeah, it is a trip, and that's scary, and that's like part of this industry. Like, I mean, that's just part of it. That's why there's like, not only do you have to be a top talent, you also have to be incredibly good at business and make sure you have the right people.
You have to be a workaholic.
Yeah, you have to be a workaholic.
Literally have to be a workaholic. It's more than just running your own brand. It's selling yourself and everything you are.
Literally. Like your soul. Oh, wait, it's like selling your soul.
It is, and I feel like I see Steven trying to like make a different way, and I respect him for that, and I stand by him for that. But I do see why people are upset at how everything played out, because it's like mom and dad fighting, you know? No one wants that.
Yeah,
Nobody
someone says that Ben only cares about the shekels. Oh my god, no.
They spent a whole, 45 minutes talking about the money. Steven said 2 lines, and they dragged him for it about the money, so that's like... I don't know. I also thought it was really telling that Candace took it so personally. I love Candace. I just was surprised she didn't handle it more like, I don't know, Michaela Peterson did.
She needs to be more white identified, because she was going off. She was like, oh, no.
People give her a lot of hate, though. I don't blame her at all.
They do give her a lot of hate.
Yeah, but too much.
Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, she's definitely, the mad black woman. Yeah, I know what you mean. Honestly, okay, so in my perspective on the Timcast thing, that's how I would have spoke about something. If I was heated about something, I would be heated. I would just, so it's hard for me to like, because... she was just feeling like she was like going at it, because like they all like say what they want to say, you know?
Yeah, it was a rant. I get that she took it personally, and I understand why she's upset, because she feels like he took a jab at her, and they don't really have the best history either.
Yeah, but she doesn't really like him.
I just thought that it didn't help her case, and as someone who watches her videos, I wish that she like took a few more deep breaths and didn't make it about her at all. And made it all about her, about the situation, you know? And I can relate.
She did better on Timcast. She did, like, way better on Timcast.
I watched it on Timcast.
Her skit on her show was, like, yeah, I can see why people got upset about it. But I don't know. I would have done the same thing. I would have been like, I
thought the Timcast thing was borderline. I liked what Jeremy, the Quartering, had to say about it. I liked what Michaela Peterson said about it, because neither of them really made it about them at all. And they were just like, oh, this is unfortunate, but this is my opinion, and this is other people's opinions. And that's it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, for me, though, I always personally get upset when people get mad at the big name in the room, like the one who's doing the best, and are like, oh, but this and that and this and that, and it's like, but then I'm like, okay, but they're doing the best because they're behaving this way, You know,
Yeah.
Hollywood is the way it is. Hollywood dominates, Hollywood rules, Disney rules because
Yeah.
of their tactics, the way that they move. There's no like soft passivity. There's no like, oh, well, if you don't feel like being in a character today, that's fine. Like they don't have that empathy. And so they do dominate. And so it's like this catch where it's like those tactics are required to dominate, but then people get mad that that's how you have to be. So I'm just like, oh, that sucks. Because I face
Yeah.
that all my life. People are like, oh, you're so like, you know, you just seem to be so focused on this, or you don't care about this, or you know, and it's like, but when you're in a competitive field and when you're in a competitive market, sometimes it's like you just gotta stay focused on the charging ahead, you know?
Yeah. I'm not gonna say that I agree that Daily Wire would be the best. I do think they're succeeding in a lot of ways and really carving out a new niche for media and entertainment. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's necessarily a good thing, and I would ask your opinion on this if you would agree. Do you like that Daily Wire has meetings with big tech? And I mean, Steven has had a meeting or two in his day, but all
Yeah.
of the big media organizations, even in conservative media, do have regular meetings and sustain relationships with the people that run big tech.
Yeah,
And I
no.
think Daily Wire is one of the
Mm-hmm.
most successful conservative media great organizations that does that. They do it very well and they really value that relationship. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's why one of the reasons they're succeeding so well and why they don't really see that much backlash from the media compared to like Alex Jones or Steven Crowder, who've been banned from multiple countries and the media just drags through the mud every chance they get. I look at that and I go, why? Why is that? And it's because of the relationship they have. And a lot of people would say in media that's a good business practice. In a lot of ways it is. But I'm not really on board giving my money to organizations that are actively silencing free speech, especially when Steven's been demonetized since 2020 for citing the CDC. He didn't even violate their guidelines. They're not even being fair. And I think that it's unfair to have a contract with somebody and say, we're going to pay you less, knowing these were already existing problems, and that's why you're coming to us. So it just seems like they're not valuing him like they should, and I don't think the I don't think every creator needs to really fight to be valued. I think their content kind of speaks for itself. Their viewership should speak for itself. And I would hope that when I get to be that size, if I get to be that size as a creator, that I would also get that kind of. It's a really kind of a privilege to like not have to keep working your way up constantly when you've already put in your time.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I get those points. So people feel like the term sheet itself was like ruthless and brutal and not empathetic or conscious of like his unique circumstances.
It was
So
it was
my
borderline.
yeah, so my response would have been to return an equally brutal like response to that term sheet, being like, you don't get any of my social media, you get like a third of my, you know, subscription money, you get
You
this and this
battle
and
it
this.
out.
Yeah, like literally, like battle it out. Like I
Battle it
remember,
out.
yeah, like that's what I would do. I would be like, okay, let's go. Um, that's what I would have done. I wouldn't have gotten, like me personally, I wouldn't have gotten upset about it. I would just return, especially when, because this is the thing. People think they're empathizing with, okay, if I was a new creator, because he's, you know, he's saying he's doing this for the new creators. But even in a new creator spot, I remember like negotiating jobs where I didn't have a job. I didn't have like, you know, I didn't have this huge windfall that, oh, I can just keep searching for another year or any of those things. But I still would edit hard like I didn't need them. And so they respected that. So in any time you're negotiating something, you never approach it like, you can never be timid. You always have to approach it as if, you know, I'm the best. I don't need them. I'm going to make sure they understand that I'm not intimidated. You know what I mean? So even
Yeah.
if I was new and someone came to me, I would still approach my contract negotiations from a point of feeling that I was superior and I didn't need them. Because otherwise, if you don't, you automatically lose. You know what I mean? Like if they
Yeah.
think they
I
have
mean, both
you,
sides do that though.
yeah, that's what both sides
Yeah.
should do. So I'm saying that even if you're not the top of the game, you don't have this or that, you still have to go at it like as confidently as possible and not feel like they're taking advantage of you. Because I remember one job I was negotiating, because I was like Googling, like, why is it women make less money? And it was like, oh, because in the article was like, oh, women don't negotiate. And then I was like, oh, bet, let's do that then. So I did that, and they looked at me like I was insane. Like, they looked at me like I was like crazy, because I was telling all these guys in tech world that I don't think they ever had, like, other than low level, they never had like black employees. And they were just looking at me like, what? Like, what is this? What is happening? So yeah, I think that we need to learn that we need to go hard each and every time. And it's just lucky that, I mean, I just can't see anybody trying to join these big organizations and not having at least some fall, like not having at least a day job, not having some way to fall back. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, that's the risk they take by signing those contracts. You can't work for the Daily Wire and have a day job.
yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
So, mm-hmm.
It has to be your like whole life. You have to commit like it's like a college degree. You have to commit like 4 to 6 years. At least that was what Steven's contract was. I'm sure they vary, but I think Michaela Peterson said that her dad's was about the same, or maybe a little bit less.
Yeah.
But I think Steven's point was that he was going hard, like as hard as possible, and that when new creators are approached with these opportunities, they need to contact a lawyer and not just trust that the corporation
Yeah.
is the beacon of conservatism and is going to stand by every single one of the values they claim on social media, because it's just simply not the case.
But
And even
fighting,
like, have you
yeah.
so real quick, have you
Uh-huh.
watched Lauren Southern's video like from earlier this year about what it was like to be a journalist and work for corporate media, and like kind of how she evolved as a journalist? It was really big earlier this year, I think.
Oh, I need to watch that then. No, I
Yeah,
haven't
it's a
seen it then.
really long video, but she goes into like all the deception and the contracts and like the slippery people. And it seems like a lot of conservatives are kind of coming out of the woodwork recently, saying that what it's really like to work for these big media companies and how it's not really any different than working for any of the big five media companies. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
well, it's just disappointing.
Yeah, it is disappointing. But I mean, even him, I heard he has like some NDA bound to someone and all
Hmm.
this stuff. So it's like, what was happening that you need an NDA? Like, that doesn't, like, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like everyone in business itself, like when people work together, it gets messy, you know? But I
Well,
wanted
NDAs
to,
are standard. Yeah, NDAs are standard.
they are standard, but
You have to sign an NDA to do like almost anything these days
I
when it
know.
comes to anything in media. Like, I recently went to a class for Peterson Academy and I had to sign an NDA. Like, anything press related, you have to.
Yeah.
And it's like, I understand, and I really want to know what happened to Ake Jeremy. I really want to know because he was a big part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that Steven, like, has him on and talks about it. But
Yeah.
I think Steven knows more better than anyone what it's like to work for big companies like Fox News and The Blaze. So
Yeah.
there's got to be something else behind the scenes going on, because it seems like there was,
Yeah,
right?
I want to bring it back to your point about them working, like having, meetings with big tech and all of these things. So for me, that seems like a smart move. Like, you have to use what you've got. Like, you've had to like go off of what exists and like leverage what exists. And like, even he's still on YouTube. Like, he's still on YouTube. So it's not like
Barely.
he's barely.
Barely.
Okay. So again, that's just a platform thing. Like, you don't want to be on that specific platform. And you
But a
can
lot of
choose which
YouTube
one.
creators have YouTube liaisons or whatever. They have like agents from YouTube that will talk to you about your content, especially if you're monetized. Like, almost every big creator has one. So it's like I get that you have to talk with the platforms that are paying you in some way or another. You have to, but I'm curious as to how close that relationship is, and if the Daily Wire, I don't know, gets some other benefits that, I don't know, maybe the Blaze or Alex Jones or any of the other people don't get.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to know what the final straw is for them to just be like, yeah, we're not even talking to you, get lost.
Yeah. Yeah, where their line is. Yeah, where their line is. It's tricky to say because I mean, honestly, they're pretty conservative. Like conservatives are not known for being like the most the most empathetic people. Like they're very based on like business and all of these things. They're not known for being empathetic. But I mean, I feel like overall you have to have the relationship. There's so if there was a possibility to reach the amount of people that they're reaching off of offline, like not on these specific platforms, I feel like they would pursue it. You know, you wouldn't want to have to invest in auditing yourself and constantly changing what you're saying and all of these things. But at this moment, this present moment in time, that's not possible. Like you're not going to reach the mainstream audience. You're not going to get it.
What
You're
do you
not going to get
mean?
it to there.
Like
Like
if you don't make a deal
if
with YouTube?
if you don't make a deal, if you're
That
not on
that's
these
kind of the point
platforms.
though. That's why people are upset, and I think that's why Steven's upset, because he's basically been shut down even though he followed the rules, and it's just kind of like nobody's safe now. They can just ban whoever they want, and a lot of conservatives are just like, well, it wasn't me this time. Better keep my mouth shut.
Yeah, no, with the whole C-19 thing, that was definitely there's definitely topics that they're not going to budge on. They're going to make
Yeah,
sure
the
that
narrative
this is,
remains.
yeah, the narrative doesn't at all get messed up around it. And they go to great lengths to do it. But at the same time, you still can be on the platform and talk about the climate hoax and really help people get through that and make sure that they don't go down that line. There's other narratives you can follow and you can pursue without
Yeah,
having to
you have to pick your
pursue.
battles,
You have to
for
pick your
sure.
battles, and then you have that paywall. You can go behind the paywall, bring them in. You can and then at the same time, here's the other thing. I noticed that a lot of conservatives hate it if, they feel like someone's watering down their points, or they're being too nice about something, or they're not going hard and speaking the 100% truth about things. But a lot of the times, and I know you're fully aware of it, people need to be gradually introduced to a lot of these things. Like you can't just like
Yeah.
destroy their entire worldview in like one episode and then be like, oh, come over to our side. It's going to be really
Yeah.
off-putting. Like you have to gradually like introduce them to, hey, this is why this is not so good, and this is why this is not so good. You can't just go full
Yeah.
force. And the conservative movement does not get that at all. They're just like now or never, sink or swim, and it's like that's not going to work.
Yeah, I hear you on that.
Yeah.
I think that it really depends on who your audience is.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think if we're comparing like Steven to the Daily Wire, their target audiences are probably very different. They probably have an overlap there, and a lot of their followers probably follow both the Daily Wire and Steven. But I would imagine that a lot of the people that stick around Mug Club probably either got there from Blaze or Changed My Mind, and they're
Mm-hmm.
there for a completely different reason. Where
Yeah.
like the Daily Wire is kind of like for newbie conservatives, if I might say so myself. It's for people
It
who like
is. It is,
just
and
got
that's
into
important.
it. They
Mm-hmm.
like the soft stuff. They're still in the basic issues. Where Steven's like, I would say like maybe a level or two deeper into like talking with Alex Jones, going down rabbit holes, exposing
Yeah.
more corruption. Where the Daily Wire is still focused on the ideas, and it's just a different show entirely. And I really do wonder if Steven was just trying to like make a dividing line and just didn't
Yeah.
do it as gracefully as everyone would prefer.
Yeah, I agree. But at the same time that's necessary. Like you can't everyone's not going to like watch Alex Jones. Like I've sent Alex Jones clips to so many people and they were just like, "No." But then if they watch the Daily Wire, they're like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense." Or, that makes sense and it's more palatable for them. So,
We
And
need both.
yeah, exactly. We need both. We need both
We
business
need both.
models. We need him on Rumble building it up. We can't like we can't make it this like puritanical if you're not 100% in on this specific way and talking to these specific people who want to understand this specific topic. You're not a good person. It just is like that's the point that I get really frustrated about, because for me, I am going to try to dilute my topics. Like I feel like personally me, I'm like, if I could, I would be like Alex Jones. You know what I mean? I would be like that.
Don't we all want to be like Alex
I know.
Jones?
Don't we all want to be like, they're just they're coming through
They're
the
turning the
bars.
frogs gay.
I know, they're turning the frogs gay and all that. Like
Yeah.
that's where I would want to be, but that's not gonna work, especially with my brand and the way I communicate. Like I can't pull that off, and it just comes off sounding crazy, and the people who would want to listen to me think that's weird. So I can't do that. But I don't want
It's
to
all
be
about presentation.
yeah, I don't want
And
people turning
what community
around.
you want to build.
Exactly. But I don't want people turning around and being like, oh, she's like a sellout and this and that and blah, 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 blah. She just wants money, because I'm like trying
Girl,
to
let them
make.
talk.
I know. I'm just trying because
They're
like
gonna talk no matter what.
yeah, because like in my like my demographic, they're like voting. What is it? Like 98% Democratic. Like I'm literally talking to like brain dead slugs at this point, trying to communicate like why they shouldn't go back on a plantation. Like, so if I go Alex Jones, they're
They'll
not
disregard
even.
you.
Yeah, I mean, I could be. I mean, at this
Yeah.
point, if I wanted to attract, let's say, black women, it would be better for me to do a hair tutorial and be like, hey, yeah, so by the way, they're trying to shut down farms in Belgium. Isn't that crazy?
You should do that. I would watch that.
I was thinking about doing makeup tutorials, like doing my makeup and then like, well, I don't really have a tutorial. Like, I'm not really a makeup artist, but just like doing stuff, you know.
People like the chatting while you're doing your makeup. Like, I would totally watch that. Just watching you just like get ready and just talk for like 30 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's totally a good idea. Yeah, okay, that's good, because I've been thinking about it for the last couple of weeks, and I was like, because when I'm getting ready to film, I'm doing my makeup anyway, and I'm usually in front of the camera, so I was like, why should I be filming? But yeah, so
it's more personable.
It is, and it's like more intimate. And I love that you understand these topics in so many ways. Like it seems like you're not like fanatical in any sense. You're just sort of like, let me think about this. Let me think about this, you know?
Yeah, I do deeply think about things, and I do change my mind on things. And I know you're not really supposed to do that, and you're not really supposed to admit you really think that hard.
You can't change your mind. If you were wrong once, that's it.
You're wrong forever. Every time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Completely discredited. Yep.
Oh, done. She was destroyed. Like
mm-hmm. Yeah, but I kind of accept that. Like, I'm just shy at this point of just being like, well, if thinking for myself makes me uncredible, then I'm uncredible.
Yeah. Or like, isn't it frustrating though when you have complex opinions about a topic and people just are so dead set on hearing like the binary, like is it right or wrong, and then if you try to explain like in this context this is blah blah blah, and they just like tune out. So annoying.
They're just not deeply thinking about it. Some people just don't think that hard about things, and they're fine living their life like that. And honestly, it might be a more blissful existence, don't get me wrong. I'd rather like know and that I've thought everything through for the most part and continuously think about things, and like I'm constantly evolving where I want to be and how I'm thinking and what I'm thinking about. Like it's a process, it's a journey, and some people don't appreciate that, and that's okay. But I deeply appreciate it.
Yeah, I deeply appreciate it too, because for me, I feel like the world is so harsh, and you know, it's just unrealistic to think that it's going to be black and white every time. Like, you have to sacrifice sometimes. You have to do things that are kind of challenging. Like you have to miss the party of, you know, some friend because you had to like finish an edit, you know? You have to do those things not because you want to, but because you have to, and it like might upset people, but it's a necessity in order to survive and succeed.
Yeah. It's also a necessity to like let me reword this. Perhaps I personally don't like it when people can't handle any sort of yelling or harsh language at all. I think we've somewhat like pansified the young generation to the point where like you raise your voice or say even the hint of anger in your tone and they
Then you're
completely fall apart and
fanatical.
they
Yeah.
cry
Yeah.
and then they like can't process anything you're saying because of the way you said it. So a big part of video production now is accommodating sensitive audiences, controlling your tone of voice, how you're presenting things. And that's where I really agree with you on like you have to be gradual. You have to not start your video with raunchy conservative talking points and like yell at people unless that's the only audience you want to reach and you want to be a full outsider to everyone else. Which is fine. Some people want to carve out just the audience they want to see, which or want to hear from, and I can relate to that as well because I have no problem yelling at people. But it depends on what your strategy
Wait,
is. If your goal...
I have no problem yelling at people. Okay, continue.
I do. I tell people to get over it in my comment section all the time. And I put out regular notices just so anyone knows. I regularly check every single comment and I screenshot them and save the crazy ones. There is a video coming of me reacting honestly to all of the craziest shit people, DM me
Yeah.
and say to me because it is wild. I have been told that I should burn in hell on the witch trials and we need to bring the witch trials back. I've also been told by a Christian that I am demon possessed and need to be like stoned to death and that I'm wasting my breath is wasting air men could be breathing. So, like, there really is no depth to the craziness, and I really think there should be a point where we're okay just being like, go pound sand! I'm gonna yell at you, or leave me alone. Like, I can block you, I can yell at you, I can laugh at you and use your content to get more content, or I could just ignore it. Those are the options. And I like to pick one whenever, you know? There's an appropriate response for every situation, and I might regret in the future telling people off too much on the internet, so I hope people at least enjoy it, because I've been told people do enjoy it, but what does that say about my audience? Like, you're trying to win people over, so you're taking a completely different approach from me, and I really respect the fact that we can kind of create this middle ground.
It's funny, I'm so jealous. Like, I never get enough, like, I don't really get enough hate. Like, I don't get hate. Like, I don't get hate comments.
Do you want hate?
No, I just don't. I mean, that's how you blow up. That's how you go viral. That's how you get popular, you know? And I just don't.
Yeah, but it's the most unpleasant way possible.
I know, but I don't.
It's like being thrown down a flight of stairs and then dragged back up again, thrown down again.
Yeah, I don't get it. Like, nobody, like, why is no one else calling me a raccoon?
Probably because they like you and you're really level-headed.
I can't, no. But no, like, that's so funny because the witch trials, that's epic. That's like...
And I saved the receipts, so like...
That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah, I'm brainstorming controversial things that could hopefully get me some like, oh, I can't believe she said it.
Okay, I can tell you the 3 things you need to say to get hate guaranteed anywhere on the internet.
Okay, yes, I'm writing this down.
Say trans women are not women.
I've been saying that!
Groomers should stay out of schools.
Yeah.
We need to stop the sexual exploitation of our children. And 3, you can say anything, literally anything, remotely praising Donald Trump, no matter what it is, even if it's literally a good thing that he did in the 80s when he tried to fix up Central Park, and you're like, maybe this guy wasn't always Satan. If you were to say that, guaranteed.
I know. Okay, so I got you on that part, because, yeah, whenever I'm like, but he went to the World Organization and told him to F off. And then people are like, whoa, that doesn't matter. And it's like, okay, well, are any of you going to do that? Okay. Anyway, no, I know that totally.
He did fix up Central Park, though. He did 100% do that in the 80s, back when he was a Democrat. And the governor and the mayor kept telling him he couldn't do it. and they kept stopping him, and he was determined to make Central Park pretty, and now people are moving out of New York because it's too violent. So
It was
I'm
all
like,
that racist, all those racist plants he planted.
It's those trees, man. Too much
Those
oxygen to
trees.
their
Too much
brains. Like, that's the whole
oxygen.
thing.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I just,
Yeah, right.
we gotta communicate to conservatives. We gotta figure out who's gonna be, we have to use the analogy, and we could probably work on a video, like collaborate on this, to explain that you need it to be like a military where you have the like scouts, like the people going out and like checking out the terrain. You have the different infantry. You have
They have those.
the cavalry. No, I'm saying like in terms of like reaching the public and really messaging to them. Like it's not always going to be Alex Jones. Like Alex Jones is not a scout. Like you don't send Alex Jones to the town being like, oh, there's robots and lizards, and like obviously he's not subtle enough to just be casually like getting a read of the town and what's going on there. So I feel like
Not at this point.
no, I feel like there that needs to be communicated to conservatives. Like they do not get that in terms of their messaging, because the left understands that. They understand totally the like incremental process, like gradual process, like how they infiltrated the church, how they infiltrated the courts and education. Yeah, the grooming even. Like they start really, really, really small. And then, oh my God, now they're like bringing in dildos to like second grade classes, you know? So it's like.
Yes, it's so bad. And like the books are just disgusting, embarrassingly bad. I could see why China looks at us and just disrespects.
And how
ultimately disrespects.
Russia is dragging us, like constantly, being like.
Their commercials are better than ours.
They are. Did you see the one where the family was on the plane? It was an anti-America propaganda video, and the Americans, the family was on the plane trying to move to America, and they tried to like jump out of the airplane. Because, okay, literally, it was so hilarious. It was like, I'm going to send it to you. I need to do a video on it, actually. That's like seriously what I need to do. But basically.
A live react.
Yeah, a live react. But basically, at one point, this is the most insane part. They were waiting in line to go to the bathroom. And then a black guy walks up, and everybody's like, oh my God, go ahead of us. And they started bowing to him. And the Russian dude is like, what? Are you serious?
What are you guys on?
Yeah, it was.
What are they putting your water over there?
Yeah, it was so funny. It was so funny. I was like, that's like so accurate. And like, oh, and there was a vegan, and so the vegan was sitting in front of them, and so they were the steward, the flight attendant comes up and is like, excuse me, but your meat is offending the vegan in front of you, so you need to put it away. And they were like, oh my God. It's like so bad. Bad.
That's insane. But I could see how accurate it is, and especially in big cities, people are just strange. They're just strange.
I know.
It's amazing. The closer you get to Democrat City, the stranger people get.
Yeah, definitely the stranger people get, because they're more and more divorced from their like nature.
From reality?
Yeah, from nature and reality, and just basic common sense. Because they have to live in this like
isn't that metaverse? Why? Yes, the metaverse. But isn't that also why all of conservatism now is pretty much just a club for people who just can't stand leftists? They're just like, please make the craziness end.
Yes.
You don't want to live in metaverse.
Oh my God. Yes. So agreed. Like, literally, that is what being conservative is. It's like literally everyone who's not insane falls into being a conservative, when it's like the vast majority of these people are not actually conservative. They're just people who aren't crazy or groomers.
They're just against the crazies.
Yeah, they're literally just against radical feminists, castration techniques, and like all this stuff. Oh, someone asked what states we live in. I'm in California.
I'm in Florida. Gang gang. I love Florida. I grew up in a blue state. I grew up in Massachusetts, so I have a unique appreciation for Ron DeSantis.
How long have you lived in Florida?
Over 10 years.
Oh, okay, so
So
you grew
it's been a hot
up.
minute, but
Yeah,
yeah.
that still hits you when when you grow up in those blue states. It doesn't leave the trauma.
Yeah,
It's
I don't miss shoveling. I don't miss having to get my car inspected. I don't miss all of the politics. All of it.
yeah.
Getting the
There's a
car
lot.
inspected is a big one though. That's ridiculous that the nanny state has to be up your butt about that.
I know, that's so annoying. That's so
Like my
annoying.
cousin built his truck. My cousin literally built his truck from the tires up, and he was missing one tiny part in the engine and couldn't pass inspection when the car ran fine. He's like, this part is literally not necessary, but I can't pass inspection. I have to take my whole engine apart to
Damn,
pass
that's
inspection.
so insane. That's so insane. Oh my god. Oh, there's a super chat. Thanks for the super chat. Awesome. I'm so glad you joined the live too. But yeah, there's a lot to the nanny state, which is like so bizarre how they're like these leftists are like, oh, we can't stand the system. It's so evil and so bad. But like, let's go ahead and make sure the system has more power. I'm always, I'm always shocked at that. That's their
Yeah,
response.
we need less taxes and less, like, honestly, we should not be creating any new laws until we already enforce the ones we have and get rid of all of the extra ones.
I
All of the
agree.
like unnecessary laws need to just be flushed, and all of the laws that are logical and agreed upon that follow the Constitution and make logical sense need to be followed before we start creating all these other arbitrary laws, especially when they have to do with social constructionism. What is it? Social constructionism? Am I saying that correctly? It sounds wrong in my brain, but I think it's correct.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. We need to go back to like I feel like we should have an audit. Like every county needs to like become a constitutional county and like audit everything,
Yes.
like you said. Like,
Constitutional carry the whole
why
country,
not?
please.
Yeah, seriously.
Why? Like, even in Florida, we don't have constitutional carry because people find open carry intimidating. And I'm like, that's literally the point. Thank you.
I know. I know. It would be great if we didn't like. I don't want to live like it's the Wild West or something, where everybody has like
Oh,
their
well.
holster. But
We
yeah,
should, instead of, in addition to gym, we should have, like, gun safety for 30 minutes in every school. I think we'd be in a completely different situation. People would be confident and they would understand that guns aren't toys. I think the first time I shot a gun, I was like 12. I was very aware of gun safety from a very young age. I never once played around with, like, we had water guns, but I never got them mixed up, okay? Like, the left
yeah.
acts like you could just get them mixed up, and it's
Well,
like,
Alec
little,
Baldwin
well,
got mixed
they
up.
paint the ends. They paint the ends of the water guns for
Mm-hmm.
those things. I think that was an issue. Didn't they mention that? Did they? About because it's supposed to have an orange, fake guns and water guns have, like, orange, what is it called? You know, it's the tip.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. An armed society is a polite society, and in the Fed, both great quotes in the comments. That's totally
Oh
true.
yeah,
You're gonna be way polite, more polite.
I see MA to Tampa represent.
Yeah, you've got some Floridians here.
There's so many Northerners that come down here. I see the Let 'em Live, or what is it? Let Freedom Live, Live Free or Die shirts all the time. We the people.
Nice,
I respect
nice.
it.
Yeah, we don't see that out here. We don't see that out here. Um, in California, that's not the vibe. That's not the vibe, unfortunately.
Oh man, that's not the way. Florida is the
No,
complete opposite if that's the case.
it definitely is.
People
It
put
definitely
those
is.
on their trucks. They put a flag on the back of their truck. They put it on their hat and on their shirt, and they walk around like that. And if you say, "Hey, nice shirt," they act like they get that all the time. They wear it all the time.
Yeah, I was wearing like shirts like that, and I did get a shout out from a Caucasian male. He liked my Firefighters for Freedom shirt. I was like,
The
"Excuse me?
horror.
Oh, you obviously are a supremacist." No, there's not really much out here, but it's okay. We'll figure it out. We've got time, you know. We're gonna get it together. Hopefully, before they burn it all down. God, so crazy what they do. But yeah, overall though, I think there just needs to be more people like us, honestly. I think that's
Yeah,
the
I
solution.
need to get my button gear and actually start publishing the videos I have in edits right now
Mm-hmm.
instead
That's
of
a
working my day job.
I know. Oh my God, that day job. That day job gets you. I know. I'm
Yeah,
so glad I don't have an active social life. Like, I didn't restart my social life really since COVID. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm just going to focus on this. Like, my
you're
online
free.
friends. Yeah. 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 That's what needs to happen. Because, I mean, I just don't want to go into the metaverse. I don't.
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't want to
either. I'm not
go.
really into the transhumanist delusion that is
No.
probably inevitable the way AI is going right now.
I
Shit's
know.
scary.
That's okay because we're gonna be able to like override it with our like superior what's that called? Superior telepathy skills. I feel like that's what's gonna happen. Like we're just gonna like level up as people and be able to like rewrite the software with our own minds, just being like and just sorry.
Just sheer willpower, Naruto style, like.
Yeah, because like I mean, the AI is synthetic versions of us, and like if it wasn't for all the like reptiles coming back 10,000 years ago and like splicing our DNA, we would be much smarter than we are now. And oh, if it wasn't for the GMOs too, that too.
The
You like my
GMOs
Alex
definitely make a
Jones?
difference, yeah.
You like my Alex Jones references?
Yeah, he's been screaming about the GMOs for a while. He's been screaming about
Mm-hmm.
the water too.
I know.
And
Seriously.
he's been screaming about lots of stuff, and my
He's
Alex
been
Jones's right
screaming.
jar has gotten pretty full.
I know.
Not gonna
I
lie.
know. I
I
know.
could
It's
probably afford a nice dinner with that now.
seriously, it's like literally, you're so right about these things. Like, who knew? Because I remember when this first, and seed oils. Yeah, shout out, John. Definitely the seed
Mm-hmm.
oils.
And
Um,
seed oils. Yeah.
and when it first started, and he was talking about like all the like, all the side effects and things, and it was like the reactions, like the severe allergic reactions. I was like, oh, funny thing. I just saw recently a video. There was somebody who said there was like stroke season, like now,
Oh
like
yeah. Do you follow Mike Adams on Natural News?
I'm pretty sure I do. Yeah.
Yeah, he just published or well, not published. He posted a blog post about a new published study from China that basically
Mm-hmm.
said that the strokes are related to the jabbity jab. I don't know if that counts as a swear word. I feel like it does these days, but
I feel misgendering is like you're gonna get sent to a camp in Canada. So I'm always scared about that.
I think even asking is a sin.
Even asking.
You're not even allowed to ask. You have to let them come to you.
I know. They're like little deer. You have to.
Yeah, they're soft
Um,
little woodland creatures. Yes.
someone shared to me like some new things for like big pharma. Like you could call it the jab could be their side gig because their main gig is like all of their medications that take out like so many hundreds thousands of people every year. So this side so the jab is just a side gig.
It
That was
kind
so
of
funny.
is, honestly. Like, just look at the amount of Americans that are on SSRIs.
Oh my
It's
God, I
scary.
know. It's
We're
so
we're the
scary.
most medicated country
I know.
out there.
So bad.
It's literally not okay. And people are like, "Oh, my 5-year-old can't sit still. Let me give him Ritalin." Like,
So sad. Not let me take away like these like frosted flakes with enough
yeah,
like
the red
sugar
number
to like
40
yeah. Yeah.
and the
Let me not take
confinement to chairs for 8 hours.
so bad. But that's just the patriarchy. They need to learn to sit down.
No, it's racism. It's racism. Just like
Both.
being on time and being a good student
Oh yeah.
and
Oh yeah.
learning and reading and math and being smart,
Not being violent.
unfortunately,
Not being violent.
not being violent, showing up to class, making money. I can't live in this cultish world anymore.
I know, it's just bad. I can't live under this racism of
I
this.
can't live in a world where saying that is not racist.
I know.
You know?
Oh my God.
Like,
I can't believe that's reality.
You almost
You
want to just look at them, give them a long blank stare, and ask them if they're listening to themselves, like really listening.
I know. It's the tragedy, like the tragedy of low expectations or something like that.
The bigotry of low expectations. That's a Rush
Yeah, the
Limbaugh quote.
bigotry. The bigotry of low expectation. It's true. It's bigoted. It's so disgusting. Like,
It's soft bigotry.
yeah, like how?
They're just coming at it from the other direction.
I know.
They're just
They
coming at
really
it from the other
are.
direction. Instead of saying, we don't think you're capable of winning, we're going to say, you're not really on their level. Like, we all know it. It's okay. We're going to help you. Like the Special Olympics
I
for
know.
above a race.
Exactly.
It's so sad. I don't know how, like, you as a black woman wouldn't just be so angry, like popping your top off, like yelling at everyone in the comment section who disagrees with you. Like, it's so bad. It's so insulting. Like, I don't know how they got away with it for so long, and so many people in America are like, yep, that sounds right.
Yeah, no. I have a lot of words to say, and I have a
I want to
lot
hear them.
of, but the thing is this, like I've grown up in the black community, so I know how like okay, so for like the racist liberals, I'm just like that's who they are. Like I really don't care. Like whatever, it's their thing that they do. Like it doesn't really affect me because I'm like how I don't really care. Like you have to respect someone to care about their opinion. Like I don't respect them, so I don't care about their opinion.
But the way I see it is all the kids that are growing up in school learning this, they're just absorbing it. They don't know any better. And when they go and search YouTube and search Google, they're gonna see what? All of the propagandist videos about it. They should see one based woman, at least one
Oh yeah.
based person there going, yeah, that's not true.
No,
You
no,
don't have to believe
totally.
that you're not as good, you know?
No, totally. But that's what I'm saying. Like the problem is that all the people who should be speaking up and should be fighting back and saying this is obviously white supremacist talking points, but just like you're packaging as if you're being sympathetic. They're just like, oh yeah, that's great. I didn't get into law school because I didn't get in good enough grades, and I should be happy about it. Like they like it, like they're fine with it, and I'm more angry at them because I'm like, racist liberals, okay, versus like the other black women who are like cheering this stuff on. It's like I'm more upset about that, but I know that even if I talk about that, they don't care. They don't want to do better. They just want an excuse. Like it's
Other
so
people will care, though.
no, I will.
Other people will see that and care.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna do videos on that. It's like you know how hard it is. It's like there's so many ideas,
Oh,
there's so much
I do.
stuff, and you want to make sure you have like some continuity. So like I'm trying to
Then you
figure
want it
out.
to look nice.
Yeah, yeah. I just really I want to get into it, and hopefully that will give me some controversial points because I have a lot to say. I have a lot to say about these people because I'm just like, and they're always like, oh, you talk about that you're part of us and they, why do you, oh, my favorite is when they're like, oh, you say they like you're not part of it. And I'm like, I'm not. And they're like, okay, if you're not with us, then where are you going to be? Around people who are insane like you are? Like that's simple.
Yeah.
Like, and then they're like, oh, well, you're mixed race, so you don't count anymore. And I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah, they always say that.
No.
They always say that, and it's like,
I know.
why do you get to pick what side of me I identify with, you know?
Are you half
Makes
like
no
something?
sense.
Are you mixed?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not, but I have a lot of mixed friends, and like, I have a lot of friends that aren't mixed, but like, would pass as white or pass as black, and it's really like when you're on the cusp, people just assume, and it's what you look like and what people assume you are, and not what you actually are. They'll talk all day about what you identify as when they completely disregard you if you disagree with them. Like, only the identity of people I like are valued.
Oh, I know.
It's like, what are you, the queen? Sit down.
I know. Seriously, it's so ridiculous. I'm like, shut up. Like, I don't, like, they're always like trying to make me feel like, oh, well, you can't come sit with us. And I'm like, sit with you where? In your food desert?
That's literally what they say, too. They're like, you can't identify with us. And it's like, I don't want to sit with you, okay? Like, stop.
In your food desert that you're complaining about. Like, oh, okay, wow. Like, It's so embarrassing. But no, I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to make content on that. So there's so many topics. What are the topics you're going to talk about? I want to know. I want to know a little bit more about like what.
Oh.
Hey, what's up, Sarah? Sahara? Free? Okay. But yeah, what are your topics that you're going to be exploring?
I really want to talk about education. One of my favorite videos that I'm working on is why Gen Z is so sad, because I think that it's more than just the drug epidemic
Yeah.
or isolation from COVID, or I'm sorry, that was a bad word. Um, yeah,
Self-censor.
more than the isolation from whatever the pandemic, and I think it has to do with schools and how we're teaching learning, because really, if you view learning as punishment and you think all the contending of ideas is punishment, it's not a learning tool, it's people are attacking you personally, then every single situation will be a battle to the death for their identity and not a learning tool to grow and expand as a grown adult. And if you can't really deprogram the way you're thinking when you've been thinking that way for 25 years and your frontal lobe's already developed and it's earth shattering. And I think that if anything causes depression and identity loss and just this complete loneliness, that would be it. And I would like to talk about that as well as the reading wars and where that stems from history wise, why we've gotten rid of the classics in school, what's going on with legislation. And I also want to talk about feminism as well, too, because I think feminism is another problem. Really, I think the pillars are feminism and education. And I want to get a
Yeah.
little bit into pop culture and politics, too. But mostly it's feminism and education is my focus. I'm staunchly anti-feminist, if you have not noticed.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think feminist. Yeah, I'm about to drop a video on the feminism thing too myself after I do
Good.
the whole chowder breakdown, the conservative civil war video. Somebody wants to know your YouTube. Shouldn't it show up? You know what? I need to
My
figure
YouTube
out.
is the same as my Instagram. It's just MWIL15. And you can also find me on TikTok there too. But I do have a Beacons link in my bio, so if you find me one place, you can find me everywhere. I'll look out for your video, Layla. Your
Yeah,
feminism video,
yeah,
because I'm sure
yeah.
it'll be iconic. You should wear that pink shirt too.
Uh,
That would be iconic.
Actually, no. I recorded it in like a really like pretty pink dress. So I like made
Oh, that's
myself.
even better.
Yeah, I was like super like girly. Feminism hates women. Like it definitely does.
Yes. If you wear
Yeah.
pink and you look nice in your video, they will come for you.
Oh, I know. They're gonna be mad. Yeah, I'm on Twitter. I don't really use it as much, but Sarah wanted to know. Are you on Twitter?
I am, but I don't really use it. It's in the links of my bio. I think the
Yeah, mine
handle is
too.
Mac Deplorable with two C's, but I change it. I'm really not into Twitter.
I don't like Twitter either. I'm just always like,
It's kind of a hellscape.
I know. And it's just like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm just like, it's nonstop. And it's like, can I just make a response video to this and like be done with it? Like,
Yeah, seriously. I agree.
seriously, I can't. I know. I need to get a Twiddler person. I need to get a Twiddler, like someone who tweets for me. And that way I don't have to do it. The more
You
feminine,
should
beautiful
quote
you look, the more they hate.
when
Yeah.
True. That's true, yeah. They just hate what femininity is. But Layla, if you really want to tweet like effortlessly, you should just when you go through and edit your videos, just take little quotes that you thought were really good and then
That's a good
just
idea.
tag the video cuz then you're not really like tweeting the back and forth, you're just doing one. It's like a dump
Yeah.
of your videos.
Yeah.
At
That's
least that's what
true.
I'm going to try to do.
That's a good idea. Yeah, it's the repurposing. It's the repurposing for me that makes
Yeah.
it feasible, like doable. Yeah, we do need, Dakota says, yeah, we
I
need more
agree.
women to speak their mind for themselves. Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm going to start doing makeup tutorials where we um, talk about the New World Order, you know? Just putting on my concealer. But yeah, there's so much. Okay, so the education, the feminism, and just making people more grounded. Are you gonna do the whole Like, do you have like an anti-woman stance, like repeal the 19th stance, or are you
No.
like, okay, good, because I
No,
can't.
I'm anti-feminist, not anti-woman.
I
I think
know
women should
people
have the
don't
right
get
to
that.
vote, but I would not be opposed to going back to where voting is. There's like some harder requirement to vote. Like you should very least have to have an ID. I don't think that's racist.
But
Like
don't
you
you
should be able to
know?
get an ID. Like you can get a school ID. Like it really doesn't matter.
It's so
It's
embarrassing.
it's so insulting to say like
So
minorities don't have the ability to get IDs because I don't know a single
But you have to know how
like,
to
person
read
of
to
color that.
go fill it out.
Yeah, but they have people fill it out for them. You know how many? You know how many people who don't even speak English have IDs?
I know.
They
It's so
do.
insulting.
It doesn't even have to be a driver's license. It could be a work ID. It just has
But
to be a verified photo ID.
I feel like those are the like really, really good propaganda phrases that they use. The restrictive voting laws. They call it restricting
Yeah.
voting laws to have an idea, and then the also forced birth. Those two are like
Yeah.
the best like catch-alls of BS that they have. It's like, what are you
Yeah.
talking about? Forced birth? Like, no, and
Yeah.
like.
They act like you don't have to participate in anything or do
Yeah,
anything to
there's
get
like an
pregnant.
eject. There's like an eject button, and like they've
Yeah.
disabled it. Like
And
usually,
they act like conservatives didn't set up like exclusions for rape.
I know, I know, it's so
But I'm
ridiculous.
sorry, I interrupted you. What were you gonna say?
No, no, I was just saying that they act like usually, you can just pick and choose, and you can control whether or not you're gonna have birth. Like, like you can just pick it, and
Yeah.
that's not the case. There's no eject button.
But
Stupid.
I mean, what if there would be in the future? Like they're growing babies in wombs now, like artificial wombs outside of the
Oh, I
body.
know.
Some studies say they can grow a baby just with a female embryo, but they can only make females.
I know.
So the future is woman
The future is
and robot.
female. Yay! Female robots. Yes.
The
um,
future is female, yeah.
I know. No, I'm glad you're not anti-women because those chicks annoy the heck out of me. I'm just like,
Yeah. Like, why don't you want to vote
and then they're
or
so like
work?
they're vocal about it, like, oh yeah, repeal the 19th and stop women from speaking and this and that and that. And that's their and number one, that's their like only rebuttal
It's a
when
meme.
yeah, it's their only rebuttal when like a woman has a point that she's conveying and they don't, they want to respond to it. And it's like, why don't you go ahead and shut yourself up now and just, get started? Like, why are you speaking? Like, I'm repeal the
That's
19th.
really the best response. Like, why
Yeah.
are you speaking then?
Yeah, I know. It's so weird.
Shouldn't you be in the kitchen? Yeah.
It's
Like,
so weird to me.
yeah.
I don't get it.
I just find it sus. And I wish that women weren't so collectively, I guess they weren't inclined to have collective allegiances so quickly. Like, it's not necessary. Having girlfriends is hard, and it's kind of annoying to, like, have to be the same person as all of your friends or else.
Oh, I know. The homogeny. It's
It's,
the homogeny for me. Yeah.
it's weird. I don't like that. That's why I don't have that many girlfriends.
I know,
I've worked
it's
hard to get some, but I'm strict about it. Like I don't want to be pressured to doing what you want to do just because you want to do it, especially if I don't agree and I feel uncomfortable. And a lot of girls
yeah.
they see you're uncomfortable and they do it more, and they're like, no, you need to come, you need to drink, you need to be a hoe, and you need to act like you're liking it. And it's like, why can't we just go sit in a cafe somewhere and like get a coffee?
No.
Like, why do we have to?
Because you're
I don't know.
silently judging them. If you don't do
Yeah,
it, then you're judging them. And they're not
yeah.
confident in what they're doing, so
And they want to see you doing embarrassing things too, just like them. Because if
oh
you're
yeah.
not like also participating, then yeah, you're judging them, right? You're not
Exactly.
embarrassing yourself too.
Like that's not okay. You need to embarrass yourself. I know. It's really hard, and I just am tired of the living in an era when women don't advocate for their best interests. If there was anything I think women as a whole should learn is like stop advocating for the stupidest stuff. Like advocate for what's good for you at the bare minimum, and then you won't be surprised why, you know, oh my God, men seem to do so well and they get this and that and that. And it's like, yeah, because they advocate for their best interests. Like simple as
I
that.
mean, they
There's
have
no,
to. No one's advocating for them. Women
yeah,
have gotten so used to other people advocating for them that they just expect it now, and it's kind of rude, at the very least.
yeah, exactly,
And
exactly.
it isn't a good look. It makes all of us look bad.
It
We
makes
don't
all of
all
us
think
look
like
weak.
that.
Yeah, it makes us look weak and irrational,
Yeah.
and it needs to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
One day they'll get it together. I'm so excited. So when is your next video? Like when do you think you'll have it ready for release? I'm looking
Don't
forward.
ask me that.
I know, but I'm sure people are going to want to know. Like they're going to follow you, and then they're going to want to know, okay, like what. I'll put in the description of the live. I'll
Soon.
like, yeah, soon.
Soon. I'm
Soon.
trying. I just moved, and I just got everything settled with my studio. Like I literally just finished setting
Nice.
all this up over the
Nice.
holidays.
Yeah, I
So
like your
I'm
background.
trying.
It's so cool,
Thank
the
you.
video.
Thank you. I have a Keep America Great hat up there. I took that from
Nice.
my mom. Where is it?
That is
Yeah.
racist.
I know. So is the Don't Tread on Me though.
Oh,
And I have a
yeah.
little campfire lighter over there. That's a gun.
Nice. I like
Some
it.
people actually thought that was real. I posted that on my story during our last live, and people were
Uh-huh.
like telling me about the modifications I should get on it, and I'm like, that's literally a campfire lighter, guys. But okay. I appreciate
That's
the
so funny.
enthusiasm.
I know, seriously. But
Oh,
yeah,
I
you got a new
also.
subscriber.
What did you say?
You got a new subscriber.
Oh, thank you. I also go live on AP for Liberty's podcast on YouTube.
Okay.
I'm trying to get on once a week. I've been on a few times, but because of the move, it kind of made it hard to be consistent. But I'm.
Yeah, I need to check in with that.
Jeez.
Yeah, I need to check in with that. I'll need to make sure to see that. You should post it on your like story, on your
Yeah, I
community
should.
board, so that people
I
know
need to
that
get
you're
to
gonna be going.
post on TikTok too, because people are asking me if I'm dead on there. They're like, "Where have you been? Are you coming back anytime soon?"
Just be like, hey, you guys, just doing my morning routine. Hi.
I was gonna make a video as a joke of me just being like, "I'm still alive, guys. I just hate it here on TikTok. I'm drowning. Please find me on YouTube or Instagram or anywhere but here."
I know. TikTok is just like really scary.
It's
It
just
gets really
people. It's just
scary.
if you want to get people to yell at you and hate you, just go there. It's a
Well, I'm
cesspool for that.
trying. God, it's so difficult. I'm always
We should
like,
do it. We should do a TikTok video.
a TikTok
It would
video?
happen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let's
all of
do
the
it.
haters that hate me will also probably hate you. So
Yay. But no, because I'm a woman of color.
true, you get more points.
They have to listen
I will give
to
you
me.
that.
They have to listen to me. Believe me. I know, and then we can get a trans woman on there, and then they'll just like they'll be the right person automatically. So we'll both be downgraded.
Probably true. All of the feminists on TikTok blocked me already. All the girl gamers blocked me. So if you want to really like upset the apple cart, just go into one of the Twitch streamers chats and just start saying like really based anti-feminist things, just single line things.
You should
It'll happen.
You should send me. Yeah, I should get the names of them so I can go in there and be like, hey guys, did you know that men are just better leaders? Or something like that.
You're gonna break the internet. I refuse to be held responsible for any of the carnage.
I just want to know, like, oh my God. No, it's so bad. But yeah, no, that lines up. Okay. Well, I think that's a good stream. I think we covered some really good points. Is there anything else you wanted to go over? Because
I wanted to say before I go that I really
yeah.
enjoy doing live discussions with you, and I feel like we
Oh,
should do one of
good.
these like every week or two.
No, I'm
Just like
totally down. Yeah.
Not even like a full hour and a half, maybe like an hour
Yeah,
or
no,
like even under
totally.
an hour, just on different platforms, just doing it because I like the conversation and I think it's really balanced and
Yeah.
logical and
Mhm.
also just enough amount of personability that really like is fun to watch. I want to see more women discussing these topics online. I really like
Yeah.
Sydney Watson and a lot of the other creators like Lauren Chen too. I
Mhm.
just I want to be like them in some ways. They inspire me and
You
you
better
inspire
get
me and
your
I'm glad that we're doing
dress.
this.
Get your little like real estate agent dress like where
My trad wife dress.
yes, your trad wife dress. I know. I'm gonna start doing a day where I do the trad wife dress like look. Sometimes
I
I love
literally
that.
have one that looks like
Okay,
the meme.
we should do one like that one day, one of our streams. I think that would be so funny.
Yeah, you did one with your feminism one, so
Yeah, I know that dress was crazy. Like my man was like, "Are you going to church?" And I was like, "Shut up." When I was wearing the dress. Okay, cool. Someone said my background looks like school photos. Oh
it
god.
does.
I think it's cool. I like the color. I like
I
the
like it
color.
too. It's really
Uh,
flattering.
I know. I like the gray. I have a brown and I have a couple other backdrops, but I got like this is like a hard backdrop, which is so much easier than the soft ones that you have to like iron. Oh my god. You're sitting
Yeah.
there steaming. Ugh, it sucks. But yeah,
I
no,
really didn't
let's
want to get one.
yeah, no, your background's great. Let's figure out a schedule and like put out a calendar and just like be consistent about it and like be real like online content creator consistency and do our
I like
shows.
this time
Yeah, I
too.
like this time too. This works for me, and I'm barely ever out on a Saturday, so or anytime that whichever day we choose to
Okay.
do it.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
let's talk about it.
let's do
I'm
it, and
down.
we can upset the feminist sphere. We can we
Their
can
apple carts will be turned
yeah.
over.
Yeah, we can like go hard against them. We can like figure out their talking points and jump on their hashtags or whatever and just like throw them into a tailspin. Do reactions on them. Yeah,
I love the live reactions. That's fun.
those
I'd
are
be
fun.
very down to do that.
Those are definitely
Hmm.
good. Okay, let's do it. All right, everybody, thanks for tuning into this live and thanks for all your support. And definitely follow shout out your page your handle again.
My handle is MWIL15 on every platform, and I have a link in my bio that takes you to other sites. So
Nice.
check that out
Perfect.
so you can kind of follow me anywhere you want.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And next
And Layla,
time,
give me yours too because I want to repost it.
yeah, Propaganda Fluent. You can find me
Mhm.
like anywhere with Propaganda Fluent. And next time I'm gonna have like little pills to have the like names. I'm building the virtual studio. But yeah, this was awesome. So you'll be able to download this and repost it and just do your thing with it. But thank you
Okay.
guys for watching and you have a great night. And I know you had a long day, so thanks for
I,
joining.
I did. Yeah.
All right.
It
Talk to
was
you guys
great though.
later.
Totally worth. Good
It
night,
was
everyone.
totally. Bye.